Hello everybody! Hope you've had a lovely New Year's. So, after the massively disappointing CC2 difficulty, which, TLDR, there is none, I decided to look into the future of Arknights, more so into the most difficult content, CC3. Which kind of affects, let me look through the list of operators that are going to be good and useful in general, but the main focus is obviously trying to clear CC3 R18, which is basically the hardest content in the game we non-CN players have to look forward to. And having masteries on the skills is going to be nice to have. Whether or not they are required, it could be argued. Just a disclaimer though, this list is not a list of absolute power. It is CC3 focused, and also for those not on the list, they can obviously still be useful to E2 and M3. However, a lot of it really depends on the content you're trying to clear for. So for CC3, this is the kind of list I've created. However, for maybe say chapter 7, the last boss of that, you need a lot of arts damage, so obviously the usefulness of operators there would be more likely to be arts damage users. Hopefully, this guide will not only let you save resources, but also allow you to save up randoms for those precious must-pull waifus that you want so badly, as well as them being meta. Also, E2, N3 any waifus you want. Waifus are your number one priority. So if there's anyone you like, I'm showing Lapland now, so I'm pretty sure I'm gonna E2 and 3 her very soon. This skin just looks too good. Anyhow, firstly, unsurprisingly, the most meta operator and used widely are both Sruto, Myrtle, and Elysium. If there is anyone you save up after W and Weedy's banner, it's honestly Sruto. Try to do everything you can to get her. Like, sell your soul, trade with the devil, whatever you can to ensure you get her. I would even suggest skipping W and Weedy's banner just to get Sruto, to guarantee her. But I'm sure many of you have already went all in, sold your soul to this banner and have like 0 left. She's literally the best guard. In terms of Myrtle and Elysium, it's kind of a given. The DP generation is just too good. You can run either one of them, or both of them are equally as good. For Myrtle, it's S skill 1. For Elysium, it's skill 2. Sruto is skill 3, by the way, to M3. Next on the list is Blaze. I couldn't find Blaze on this tier maker, so I'm just going to edit her in. Blaze is good. Use Blaze, build Blaze. She's really strong, and she's obviously high up on this list as well. Next to her is Spectre. It's mostly used just to delay tank stuff, because the 10 seconds of her not getting killed is just so good. I used her in the chapter 7 last boss as well. She's so good just to have those 10 seconds free, because that boss just one-shotted every defender I had. So she's good. And surprisingly, Nightingale is on this list. I didn't think any healers would actually make the list, but she's here and she's useful. I assume it's for the magic defense in her kit, but I'm not really too sure. However, I have seen a lot of people use Nightingale skill 3, and you don't even need to M3 her skill 3. You can just leave it at M0, like mastery 0, so skill level 7 if you're going to use her. Now that we get to the A rank, well, I say A rank, but honestly anyone here is very good. We start off with Bagpipe, S3, Silver Ash, S3, Saria, S1, or S3. So you can, they're both really good. S1, M3 is really nice to have. For skill 3, you don't need to M3 her. Honestly, M0 is fine. I have Mudrock next on the list as well, but she's missing from this tier list. I just couldn't find her. So let me just scroll down, let you take a look at all the operators we have in the game. Now, if you can find her, let me know in the comments down below. I just couldn't find her. I've looked like 2 times, 3 times, multiple times, just looking for Blaze and Mudrock, but I just couldn't find them. Honestly, these waifus just don't want to show up for me. Just like when I polled for Blaze, she just didn't want to show herself to me. I just couldn't get her, no matter how much I went in. I went all in for her and I didn't get her. Is this a sign that I won't get Mudrock as well? God damn it. But yeah, Mudrock is good. I think this is her skill 2 that's good. So definitely M3 for skill 2. Shen, skill 2. Ifrit, skill 2. AF Fiala, skill 3. The burst is just so good. I've actually written down here that M0 skill 3 for AF Fiala. So you can keep it at that, or honestly just go for M3, she's equally as good. Now another healer, we have Shining here for some weird reason. Shining, skill 3 M0 is fine. She's good, but I wouldn't M3 her, to be honest with you. Now further down the list we have Project Red for skill 2 and Phantom for skill 2 as well. They're both good, they don't require masteries, and I've added Phantom because I actually didn't see anyone use Phantom for CC3, but I feel like he's just a better Red, and I feel like that he didn't show up is because he's harder to get than Red, since Red has been out since I think pretty much day 1, so most people will have Red built, for example, instead of having Phantom. And then next to them is Yato. If you don't know, Yato is used for some crazy fast operator, like a fast operator, which you can just keep deploying, so Yato's just really good. Build her, him, her. She doesn't even require much investment, so I would definitely be building her as soon as you can. Telopsis, I feel, is actually very good on this list because Telopsis has been pretty much the best healer, well, the best offensive healer most people have built and used. So Telopsis, skill 2, again, I wouldn't recommend M3. You can if you want, but it's a bit of a waste. M3 is just so expensive to build. Next on the list is Amir. I've got Guard Amir on this list, not base Amir, base caster Amir. I'm not sure which skill she uses, but Amir overall is a good investment just because her guard form is actually good. Next on the list we have Shamare, skill 2, Siege, skill 2, Suzerain, skill 3, Skadi, skill 2. I'm surprised Skadi's on this list, but if recent chapters have shown, Skadi is just a really good duelist 1-to-1 with bosses. So I don't really rate her that high, but she's actually used in CC3 and actually useful. So build her if you have her. I wouldn't spend her randoms trying to get her, to be honest. I feel she's quite what's the word? Hoshi, skill 3 is good. Eunectus, skill 2. Eunectus is in a bit of a weird situation, right? So let me explain with Thorns, Eunectus and Suruto. Basically, Thorns comes first, then Eunectus, then Suruto. So while she's on this list and she's useful, if you need another guard, then go for her. But otherwise, I would prioritize your randoms to be Thorns and Suruto instead, because the chances of you getting all 3 is highly unlikely as a free to play anyway. Obviously, if you're a whale, then just go for it. She's good. Eunectus is skill 2, Texas is skill 2, Babik is skill 2, I feel like both of these are just for the CC, because CC is quite useful in, well, in CC. Same with W, skill 3 M3, you use it for the burst and stun. And then Fawn's skill 3 is very, very good. Further down the list, now I haven't actually seen anyone use Angelina and W, but I've put them on the list here anyway because I feel they're going to be useful and they would require different setups to actually use them. Like Angelina will preferably be built with Suzerain, and Weedy is used in some delay comps. They're useful to build, and you can utilize them to a good extent, but I don't feel like it's, one of the recommended to be used. But that's it, guys. Anyone on this list is very good to invest in. Whilst I have them in tiers, there's really not much difference between all of these operators. They're all good, well, apart from the double S tier up there. Those guys you want to build as soon as possible, get Sruto as soon as you can. Guarantee her, do everything you can to get her. So if you ever ask the question, who should I invest in next for E2 and or M3, these are the ones I would recommend. Just a note again, this does not mean anyone else not on this list is not worth investing in. It's just that these guys here on the list will enable an easier clear for CC3 R18, which is going to be the hardest content in Arknights. Later down the line, I will also do a follow-up for low rarity teams for CC3, which actually still requires a handful of 6 stars, so you can imagine these M3 masteries are going to help out so much for you. If you want to see that, hit a like, subscribe, and turn the bell on. I shall see you guys in the next video. Peace.